Cocoon Spawn Girls, Chapter 39. Dr. Ageal began to pile up dishes in his hands as he proceeded to carry them back to the kitchen. With the meal wrapped up, we now had to turn our attentions back towards our next move. Should we abandon the trail at this point and turn back and try to save Tiki? Aurelia was right here only a day or two ago. When we were so hot on our tail, could we really just leave? Perhaps Dr. Ageal might have more information that could help us find her. So, Miss Mare, Clarice began, do you enjoy living in this castle? Mare shrugged her shoulders. I am, thank you. Anything in particular you enjoy doing here? I'm curious about anything me and Sophia could enjoy while in your den. Mare touched a finger to her lower lip, thinking for a few seconds. There's a pumpkin patch on the side of the hill beneath the castle. Thank you. Oh, do you grow them? She snapped her fingers. Oh, I know. I bet you carve pumpkins, don't you? No, thank you, Mare coldly responded, shutting her down. We make pumpkin bread. Thank you. Bread, you say? Clarice repeated. I like pumpkin bread. Thank you. Huh, she nodded. Well, I suppose since I've never had any, I can't judge. Any chance you have some we could snack on? You want to steal my pumpkin bread? Thank you. The same pumpkin bread that me and the doctor worked so hard to grow and bake all on our own? The pumpkin bread? Thank you. Her thanks didn't hide her worried expression. No, it's fine. Another time, Clarice retreated with a sigh. Thought so. Thank you, Mare huffed as she raised her head in victory. Say, Mare, any chance I could get some pumpkin bread? King asked out of nowhere. Mare seemed to almost pout looking at him. Actually, it seemed like she was avoiding his eyes. King, you can have a slice. Thank you. He can have some, but I can't? Clarice erupted. Mare fell backwards in surprise onto her butt. Clarice continued her attack. Might I remind you, King is a puppet, and therefore is incapable of enjoying the fruits of our labor you told me about. Surely, if you could share a slice with anyone, it would be with someone who can truly appreciate what it is you're sharing, right? Mare mumbled in shock. I ended up stepping in at this point, not wanting to make our host angry with us just over some bread. Ignore her. Your bread is clearly important to you. I held out to her. She rubbed at her eyes before climbing to her feet. Clarice side-eyed me. If you hadn't done that, I would have gotten some, she sighed. I'm sure I was so close to it, too. Dr. Ageal returns from the kitchen. He seems to notice Mare's reddish eyes. Everything okay, Mare? Great. Now we've gone and made an enemy of our hosts over stupid bread. Everything is good. Thank you. She shook her head with an innocent expression. Saved by Mare's kindness, it would seem. Very well, he smiled at Mare, his head turning back towards us. Now that dinner and our story time is over, perhaps I could ask you both for some assistance with something. Us? What could he possibly need us for? King raised from Clarice's side. Please, tell us more before we agree. Sure thing, Squirt, he teased King. I was hoping you girls wouldn't mind responding to our hospitality by doing the two of us a favor of sorts. He walked over to a nearby stone window opening. He pointed outwards towards a small hill which rose above a tree line of woods. There is a spawn taking up residence in a cave at the base of that hill. Neither Mare nor I could possibly be able to slay it on our own, but I'm sure two powerful former magical girls wouldn't have any issue with that, would you? I suppose slaying a spawn isn't that large of an ask. Honestly, it'd be a nice change of pace from having to fight with fallen magical girls. I gave Clarice a look of approval. I think we should be able to handle that request, she nodded. However, King spoke up, I believe you could offer a bit more in exchange for our assistance. That being? I think we both know that any spawn we slay would be able to become quite a good source for the chemical we both need. Handle the processing part for us, and we'll gladly split the corpse bounty 50-50. Generous, aren't we, little star? Dr. Ageal chuckled. King did his classic puppet shrug pose. What can I say? I do enjoy being in the company of another celestial fan, even if it's a rude one. Dr. Ageal chuckled again. He then held his hand out, meeting King's, shaking on the deal. Very good! You handle killing the pest, and we'll handle recovering it and processing the goods. Sound good? One more thing. Clarice leaned forward towards him. Once we return from taking care of this spawn, we want you to give us all the info you have on Aurelia and where to find her. Dr. Jill sighed.
Well, like I told you already, I don't fully know where she currently is. However, I can promise to give you the best info I can provide about where she might be.
He held a hand outward.
So, do we have a deal?
Indeed, King smiled, shaking hands with the man. Well then, Clarice jumped back in. What can you tell us about this spawn we're after?
Well,
Dr. Jill stroked at his chin as he came up with a summary.
I would say it can hold its own in a fight. Not to say it's very territorial or prone to fight. In fact, it's pretty content hiding away in the cave of its.
That struck me as odd. I wonder why it is we're hunting something that keeps to itself.
It makes some interesting noises, actually. You might even think it's trying to talk. But the gargles it spits out can't be anything other than noises mixed with sounds from its memories, I assure you.
Another odd thing to say. When someone says something like that, how can I not immediately start thinking this spawn might somehow be able to talk? Is that even possible? I didn't think it was until right now when Dr. Jill started talking suspiciously.
It's about 40 feet tall when standing on all fours. Its forelegs are like tree trunks that stretch out from its body like spider limbs. I've observed it to be pretty slow in nature. Slow enough smaller spawn have been known to rest on it for periods of time. Moss is growing across its body as well, forming these tangles of roots and vines across the whole body, which it doesn't seem to really mind.
Walking moss garden. Got it, Clarice nodded. None of that sounds like anything we can't handle. Eh, Sophia? I nodded. Even if I had some lingering suspicions towards Dr. Jill's motives, I didn't think there would be any issue with the spawn itself. So, how are we getting there? Mare able to open a portal for us? Dr. Jill shook his head with a sigh.
I'm afraid not. You'll have to walk through the woods to get to the cave. For the return trip, Mare can open a portal from your location to here, so you only have to complete the journey one way.
Weird. But I'm sure it has something to do with the conditions of Mare's ability?
That would be correct. She can open portals to places she's been, or where someone she knows is.
I can't help noticing the implications of that. If she can open portals to people she knows, that would mean she's capable of opening a portal straight to Aurelia. I raised my board up to begin writing when I suddenly felt Clarice's foot step on mine. I look up from my board to see she's not looking at me. Sounds good. We'll leave now and hopefully be back before you know it. Oh wait, how will you know when the job is done?
I will give you a small firework. You may set it off once you're ready for pickup.
Dr. Jill smiled. Great. Give us the firework and we should be good to go on our way. Dr. Jill turned back towards the kitchen and walked off to retrieve the firework. Mare trailed behind him. Once they were out of sight, Clarice clenched my hand, her eyes looking straight into mine. She didn't say anything, but I got the message. She wanted me to know she didn't miss that detail either. They had a way to give us Aurelia's location, but they hadn't offered it to us. I began to retrace my memories. Had they ever said they couldn't do that? They said they didn't know where she was, or when she had left, but they never said they couldn't find her. But they also knew we were after her, so why not offer that assistance unless they were against us finding her? As friendly as they both are, we have to remember we're still in enemy territory. Dr. Jill returns with a long firework on a stick.
Just launch this off when the job is done and we'll be there in a jiffy.
With that, Mare guided us out of the castle. Our path required taking quite a number of stairs to get to the ground. I was surprised how high up we must have been. Reaching the door, Mare waved us off. See you soon. Thank you.
Right back at you.
King laughed. Mare didn't respond, turning back and closing the door. We were on our own again, I suppose. Do you think it'll be a long walk? I held up. Based on how it looked from above at the window, I think the hill is a pretty close by landmark. We can probably cross the woods in about an hour, I'm sure. I like the confidence. Hopefully there aren't any rivers or rough terrain. King placed a hand on his side.
I'd be more worried about any spawn we might encounter. Don't forget this is a den after all.
Right. When you see someone living so comfortably in a freaking castle, it begins to feel unreal that we could be standing inside a danger zone. I guess I really don't know what makes a den dangerous. The fact Spawn live freely there, or the presence of fallen magical girls ruling over them? To a regular person, I suppose those options are both practically the same thing. We take off on our journey to kill the Spawn living in the hill. The path isn't covered, but it isn't nice road either. The beaten path has become overgrown since people last lived near here. With large trees on either side of us, it's easy enough to figure out where the path once lay. As we walk, I try to picture what this path may have looked like back when humans still ruled over this den. Maybe there were bike paths where bikers would enjoy cycling through the wooded trails. Maybe it was the type where you'd bring your younger kids to a hike as you look at the historical castles above the tree line. Spaces which were once lived in, now left abandoned, always rubbed me as strange. I'd seen my fair share of abandoned houses at this point, yet I still feel that uncomfortable feeling when I see them abandoned. As we walk down the grassy, overgrown path, I don't even spot torn down trees or the signs of the beasts that should live here. No Spawn crashing through the forest, no long, dried-out corpses left to rot when everyone left. No Spawn even seemed to live here, but the same goes for wild animals as well. I don't hear the sounds of birds singing, and I don't see the scurrying of squirrels as they spot us and hide. The wooded path is devoid of life entirely. We still are in the vicinity of a castle grounds. Perhaps Mare had hunted the area's Spawn out of this area. It's just her living there, so I can't imagine they need to harvest that many Spawn to keep her alive. Surely the natural population would be fine. So where did they go? With the den this empty, it's no wonder they'd notice a Spawn that keeps to itself, hiding beneath a hill. I know there's something I'm unaware of here. I just can't connect the dots on all my observations. I feel uneasy knowing we're probably doing something that will have consequences we're unaware of. About 30 minutes in, reaching the halfway point, Clarice spoke up. "Hey, Sophia?" She checked to make sure she had my attention. "Have you given it any thought to what we should say? I mean, I'm sure you've thought a ton about it." She fidgeted with the side of her hair. "What I mean is, if we really do find Aurelia, and then we find Marzia, what then? She made a squirming sound of discomfort. I just worry. I don't know what the right thing to say is. She just left. So, what will we know about why she did it? I do worry about that. She left on her own," I wrote back. "Right? I don't think it was because of anything you or I or anyone in the Coven Bred did. But she had to have a reason to so easily leave with Aurelia." I know she wanted to see her family. She was still holding on to her old life. Chloe laughed slightly. "Yeah, I suppose she was the type who did silly stuff like that. She wasn't like you who accepted her new life so easily." Did I accept it easily? I try to think about it, but I'm not sure. I swear I was fighting it pretty hard. At least, in the beginning I was. My situation has to be more unique with Fool's Night taking away old memories in exchange for more power. Marzia had siblings. 4 of them. Maybe she wanted to reconnect with them? MGI would never allow that. Would they even be able to connect? As far as the public knows, those who became magical girls are just dead. So some random non-human showing up and declaring that they are your dead sibling? It can't end well. That is true. But what else do we know about her? I really tried to rack my brain over what I truly knew about Marzia. She was my precious friend, yet I still don't begin to say I understand her. She's sporty, outgoing, likes the outdoors. She's pretty bad at singing, but she still does it. She likes some dorky cartoon I've never heard of, but I've always wanted to watch with her. I wiped my board off, sniffling a little. She spent some time at the lab after becoming a magical girl. She ran away once. She went home and her family reported her as a spawn. That day, somehow Aurelia convinced her to stop fighting and leave with her. My marker slips from my fingers due to the sweat building up on them. I can feel tears welling up in my eyes as I lean down to grab my marker. Before I can stand back up, Clarice has wrapped her arms around my head, pulling me against her chest as she hugs me to it. "It's okay, Sophia. That's enough," she cooed, beginning to stroke the top of my head. "Last time, there was a rush for them to escape. Next time, we'll have all the time to discuss everything thoroughly." She smiled down at me as I looked up from her chest. "And you know what else? This time, we're all fallen magical girls. Maybe now that we're all the same, we can better understand one another. I bit my tongue at arguing my fallen status. I was taken by the sense of hope I felt towards maybe Marcia giving us a better chance of convincing her. Once we have her back on our side, then we can worry about getting the three of us back into MGI's good graces. Clarice released me from her hug. Standing back up, I wiped any remaining tears from my eyes, giving Clarice a smile to show I was all right now. We resumed our journey towards the hill, a new hope for the plan working out. First to Spawn, then Aurelia, then finally Marcia. End of chapter 39.